This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, LowcoSports fans, welcome to another edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown, brought to you by Mickelson Law Firm and powered by LowcoSports.com. Wes Kerr and Justin Jarrett with you. You got the windows open, Wes. I can see the Red Sox
I got the fan on.
flapping.
I got the fan on.
Okay. I can see it flapping in the breeze.
No, it's I don't know if it's too loud, but I am sweating in this recording area right now.
I got you. I just saw the fan whipping. I thought maybe Milton was starting to whip up a little wind over there early at your house.
Well, that's concerning for especially the Tampa, Florida area. It looks like it is direct hit Category 5. That is just awful.
Yeah.
And especially a lot of those communities having to deal with Helene, with the effects of that, and now having to worry about evacuation and making preparations for Milton. So it's very challenging.
There's another one. There's another little one spinning down by Miami too. So getting it from both sides in Florida. It's going to be rough, and we're going to go through this week talking. The next couple of days, like everything's normal, and we're going toward Friday because as far as we know, we are. But the reality is that we are poised for some kind of disruption later in the week because it looks like the north side of that storm is going to be nasty.
The worry is Thursday because that's the Bridge Bowl. Thursday's the Bridge Bowl.
Right.
That is the day. That is the day I'm most worried about in terms of the heavy rain and wind. So that's the day to watch.
Yeah, it looks like arrival time, at least the last time I checked earlier today, and these things change pretty quickly, so you can't go off of things that you saw, days ago or anything like that. But a few hours ago, at least, it looked like arrival time would be sometime Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., somewhere in that range, probably a little bit on the later end of that. So you'd hope maybe we're clear by Thursday if this thing's moving fast, but and hopefully we just don't have too much, we have power and all that stuff because that was the thing last time. We were clear of it as far as the actual weather went, but people didn't have power. We didn't have, people couldn't get places. And so it looks like the north side of this thing is going to be kind of nasty. And this isn't obviously a weather show. I'm not a weather forecaster, but I have lived here 20 years and I've studied these things a lot. Paid attention and I try to pay attention to the people who know what they're talking about. And the north side of this one is the dirty side. And that's what we experienced with Helene as well, is the dirty side of the storm, which spins up tornadoes and stuff like that. So, it is something to be taken seriously and certainly you should, think about what your plans are if it does go sideways and we need to evacuate. If it takes a little left turn, we're in trouble. Period. And these things are unpredictable. So we'll see how it develops, but hopefully, if all goes well, this thing will not do as much damage as anticipated, and we'll be playing football on Friday because we want to see this Bridge Bowl game. It's already been pushed back once, and we've got a guest in the green room already tonight who wants to play that game on Thursday as well. Aeden McCarthy, quarterback of the Bluffton Bobcats, going to join us tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about what happened on Friday night. They had a big win over Beaufort, 42-35. We'll watch some highlights. We'll talk about the high school league RPI rankings and look through those and delve into those a little bit more and what that kind of means as we go toward the playoffs. And we'll just kind of see where it goes tonight. Max should join us a little bit later. But how you doing, Wes? You doing all right? Good Monday? Good weekend?
Yeah. Solid Monday. Just the usual start to the week, but I'm just, like I said, watching the weather. Hopefully things are gonna impact because it's just I'm tired of we've had so many
I'm over it. I'm over
football and soccer for USCB. It's been a month since we were it seems like there's been so many games pushed back, postponed, and it's just you're ready for things to become a little more normal and less chaotic at this point. But it's
just want a normal week. Just a normal week. The last storm disrupted 2 weeks in a row, and then this week's off to a rocky start as far as being normal. So it'd be nice to have a normal week to just get into a routine. I'm sure our football players feel that way too.
Especially now it gets into the big part of the season, a region play every week, every game matters.
You want to stay focused,
wanna
and
stay
it's hard to
locked in.
do that when you don't know whether you're going to be able to practice or play or whatever. But well, hey, the presenting sponsor of the LowcoSports Lowdown and our all-star sponsor is Mickelson Law Firm, our original sponsor, been with us since 2017. They are our official real estate closing attorney and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, but they can help you with all your legal needs right there in downtown Bluffton. Mickelson Law Firm, great place, great people. Call on them for all your legal needs. They're our all-star sponsor. And tonight they present our guest, the quarterback of the Bluffton Bobcats, putting up some big numbers this year, Wes, and he put up some big ones on Friday night against Buford. We got Aeden McCarthy joining us. What's going on, man?
So,
What's going on? Congratulations on a big win on Friday night. You guys have had a little bit of adversity this season. You had a rough game at Savannah Country Day where you fell behind early and just couldn't get anything going. And then same thing with Hampton, fell behind, but we saw a spark in that second half that you guys have carried over into the last couple of games. And just tell us about, what it's like playing in that offense, leading that offense. It's got to be a lot of fun, and you certainly have a lot of weapons at your disposal.
yeah, it is a lot of fun. I like throwing the ball. Yeah, I'm glad that we do because a lot of teams around here don't really throw the ball like we do, and it's like a change up for sure. And I got some guys on the outside and my O-line blocking for me.
No doubt.
By my count, unofficially, 236 yards, 5 touchdown passes for you, my man. I mean, what a performance and what a statement win for yourself and for this team coming into what's been a perennially strong Buford squad and flexing your muscles on offense from start to finish. So, just tell me about how thrilled you were about the result that you obtained and how hard you worked to put yourself in a position to get a huge road region win on Friday.
I mean, we just knew we had a tough game coming up. Practiced hard the whole week. Had a good game plan coming in. Knew that we had a good offense and knew we were going to execute, and then we did. So I like that.
When did it click for you as you went through that tough stretch a couple weeks back that JJ mentioned, started with Fan Country Day, then went over to Hampton County. What kind of turned it around the other way for you guys after a couple of tough performances? What did you learn from that stretch that kind of helped you reset and get yourself ready for region play?
I mean, I just started changing the little things in the day and at practice, just being more of a leader, like just trying to like lead everybody and then changing like my fundamentals, more working on that, and then it kind of just clicked, started working.
Yeah, it seems from my perspective, it seems like you've just gotten a little more comfortable each week too. I mean, I feel like you're getting a little better feel for the pocket and when you need to get out and go and when you can stay in there. Your feet are getting a little more confident and comfortable, I guess I would say. Does that check out for you? You feel like the speed of the game is starting to slow down a little bit with each week, and you're starting to see it develop a little better?
Yeah, it really is starting to slow down. Like reading defenses, I can just see it slow down. At the beginning of the year, it was pretty hard starting, like first year starting, but I've gotten it down pretty much now.
Yeah, and this game was absolutely wild. A lot of swings back and forth, but you turned it on in that second half, and Carnell Warren played like the superstar that he has become for this Bluffton team, alongside some others as well. But just tell me about how you battled out there through a challenging game against an always strong Buford team, all the ebbs and flows. He had that big kickoff return. I really thought that was the spark
That was
when you
huge.
saw your guy return to the house. How fired up did that make you when you saw that huge return for 6 points to put the momentum in your favor?
Well, it really turned the momentum because we just had a 3-and-out, and they went down and scored, and they were winning, and then we really needed something to click there, and that really helped us get back into that game.
Heck yeah, that was a huge play from Lucas Gates, who, he's a guy that you look at him before the game, and the opponents probably don't think, well, we got to make sure that guy doesn't beat us. But man, he's made some huge plays this year, and that's what it takes is everybody stepping up, playing a role, making plays. You definitely have some guys around you on offense. Carnell's the name everybody knows. They they throw everything in the kitchen sink at him to try to take him away. But you got some other dudes over there. Nate Ulmer, Roman Benjamin's made some big plays for you. Tell us about some of those other guys on offense, the names everybody doesn't hear all the time.
Oh yeah, whenever people double team Carnell, we got Nate stepping up. Nate stepped up in a lot of games, having a lot of yards, and really became like a really good deep threat for us. And Roman's like more of a shallow medium threat. He's like those, and our Y's, our Ben and Tyler.
Yeah,
they've been stepping up where they need to, and like when they've been open, they've caught the ball. So.
Well, you came through with the
Tyler
arm,
Wolf.
but I think what really impressed me was your scrambling ability with your legs and, taking advantage of open grass and picking up first downs and chunks of yardage. So, tell me about how you've evolved the quarterback and how you've, made yourself available to adjust on the fly. And when you see opportunities to pick up yards on the ground, using that scrambling ability to put yourself in a good spot to move the chains and put together productive drives.
I mean, when I'm sitting in the pocket, I'm looking downfield, looking at the defense, and I start to feel like closing in and I see a hole. I mean, I just take it. It's the best thing you can do if you don't want to get sacked and lose yards that are pointless.
Right. Who do you there's so many different styles in the NFL and in college, and you look at quarterbacks, I'm sure that you kind of try to model yourself after, or your body looks like theirs and you run like them, so you kind of try to mimic what they do. Who are the guys that you kind of look at and try to pick up techniques from, or try to learn from about how to be a more effective dual threat guy?
I mean, I like watching Josh Allen because whenever he does scramble, he runs hard and tries to get as many yards and is creative with the ball in his hands, and that's really what I like to do, and he likes to throw too.
I thought you might say that. You guys kind of run similarly, kind of upright and get like a distance runner almost when you take off. So I could see that.
Oh, absolutely. But you got to play with a couple other solid Bluffton quarterbacks of the years. Most recently, we talk about Max von Hohenstraten, who was there for a while, and then Owen Days.
He was at May River that year,
May
right?
River, okay.
You were at May River that year,
and then you were just at
Bluffton last year. Yeah.
You did get to play for Owen Days. So, just talk about the quarterbacks that helped mentor you, Owen Bays, and then just going back to your May River days as well. Kind of what was it like to be a part of these different programs, and talk about the different quarterbacks that really helped you, that helped kind of motivate you and mentor you to kind of get to the point where you're a confident starter for this Bluffton team.
So, I mean, at May River, I don't really have like too much of a mentor, I'd say, for like the style quarterback I play. Mm-hmm. So once I got to Bluffton, Owen was a pretty good mentor, like teaching me like the different defenses and what they do and easy ways to pick up what they're in. So he was a pretty good mentor for that.
Yeah. And then you had Coach Kharkov, of course, last year mentoring you. And is it Coach Sater who's the QB's guy now?
Coach Cedar, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess speak a little bit to those guys and what you've learned from them and how you've developed as a quarterback under their mentorship.
I mean, so last year, Coach Kharkov, I was a sophomore. He taught me some stuff, but like this year it's mostly been Coach Cedar and my quarterback coach, Coach Kavanaugh.
Okay.
He's really stepped up my game and made me like practice the little things, and that's what's really made me step up this year.
Little things become big things.
Big difference. But yeah, tell me about how fun it is to play under Hayden Gregory and what he's done to really invigorate this program and kind of what led to the decision to join Bluffton after being a part of that Mirror team and how this new venue, change of scenery, has invigorated you and given you a shot to thrive under Coach Gregory.
I mean, May River, it's just not my type of style, running and stuff. Yeah. I like to throw the ball, and I knew Bluffton did, and I knew Coach Greg did. And I love Coach Greg, and I love like the way he runs this team and this offense. And I knew I could thrive here, so I knew I'd come.
Yeah, and it made sense. I mean, your dad works there and coaches soccer there, girls soccer, so made sense in that aspect as well. And I know you and Carnell, you played the ball together for a while, right? Because Carnell was at May River as well. I used to see you guys. I go out to May or McCracken baseball games. You guys would be over at River Ridge, working out together, you and Carnell. So I was expecting you guys to have a great connection this year. But I guess speak a little bit about what it's like to play with a wide receiver of that caliber who has that kind of ability. I mean, you're never out of a play, right? If that guy gets a little bit of an opening and you can put it in the right spot, you got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, it does make my job a lot easier to have a guy like that and other guys like that. They're fast, they can get open, they're good route runners. Yeah, it is easy when he's really tall, can jump high, and go get the ball.
Yeah, that
Talk
that
about
catch,
that, and
that
you
catch
guys
on
came up.
Friday.
That
Jeez.
connection came up huge at the end of the first. Tell me about that drive at the end of the first half, and that touchdown throw to Warren to, that was a huge momentum shifter. Gave you guys the lead at halftime, but just talk to me how important that drive was and how clutch Carnell has been, and also Omer who helped,
Oh,
really set things up on that drive earlier than a huge 35-yard gain, wide open in the middle on a 3rd and 5, and then you guys hook up again the end zone in 1st and goal. So just take me through that drive and how clutch your guys were to really turn the tables in that game.
All right, so that gain of 35 wasn't a design play. Like he was supposed to run a slant there, and we were on the same page and knew that that window was taken, so he just went upfield. We were on the same page, threw it at the right time, made the catch, got tackled, and then that goal line fade. I knew one-on-one. Don't know why you would do that with Carnell, but threw it up. It's automatic.
oops. Yeah, you see him one-on-one. Is that like automatic?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's automatic. He's getting a shot to make a play, right? Um, Yeah, so I guess that's something I'm interested in. Give us a little inside baseball, as far as like, oh, you have to quick kick that? Is that you?
No.
Oh, that was the punt snap. All right. I was like, oh man, did you just chase one down and just get rid of it? But no, take us a little bit through what it's like reading a defense. I mean, you come up to the line of scrimmage. I don't think the average person, very few of us played quarterback in high school or any other level for that matter. So when you walk up to the line of scrimmage, what are you looking at?
Oh, you always look at the safeties first. You always see what the
Mhm.
safeties are doing, what it is, one high, two high,
Yeah.
and then you just like find your route concept and picture where the holes are going to be. You just really read them and see what the defense is doing while the play's going on. That's really
You
it.
almost have to see the play happening before it happens,
Right.
right? And try to
Yeah.
imagine where everybody's going to be. There was Lucas
How have
Skates
you really
with the huge kick
grown
return.
the abilities to just have the confidence in yourself to get rid of the ball quickly and deliver it accurately and to the point where it needs to be? Just talk with me about your coaches and how they've trained you to really gain that confidence in yourself and now you've worked on those qualities yourself during the season and in the off season to really hone every aspect of your game of where it needs to be this year as this first year as a full-time starter.
It's just constant practice. Coaches telling me, walking me through film, walking me through coverages, telling me what's going to be here on these different routes and all this. It's just constant practice and practicing like different looks. It's really all it is.
How much did the
Yeah.
5-on-5 or the 7-on-7 play during the summer and heading into the year? Coach Gregory always makes sure to schedule a lot of those. How much does that help getting those live reps and a situation where you're passing every down and you're just getting so many different reps in terms of making reads and making throws?
That helps a lot because it really like without an O line there helps you picture in like what's going to happen, where the holes are going to be, all that. Again, especially against good teams, the good teams we play against in those 7-on-7s, it really gets you ready for the teams we play around here.
Yeah, man, you're starting to see the field really well. Just watching these highlights again, which I've seen them a couple times now, but just seeing your feel for when you need to take off and seeing the field it's just getting better and better. This region is fun, right? We've got a really fun region this year, I think. Bishop England knocking off Hilton Head the other night. That was the other game other than yours with Buford, I think that was, had some drama to it. May River we knew was probably going to take care of Colleton, but it feels like with you guys, May River, Bishop England, and even Hilton Head, and then you throw Buford in the mix, like everybody can beat everybody. What is your take on it? And who do you feel like is the team to beat other than yourselves?
I mean, it's really anything can happen in this region. I've seen the last couple of weeks. I mean, the team to beat, since they're 5-0, is May River. But
yeah,
if we practice hard, do everything we need to do the little things right, I think we can win this region.
That's a
You
fun
take it one
matchup,
bit
you and May River.
Yeah, all right. That's at the end of the season. Certainly, a lot more games are coming before that, and I'm sure you were looking ahead to the big one this Thursday because the short week. You guys are hosting Hilton Head in the annual Bridge Bowl, and every game in this region is crucial, and every game's going to be a test this point forward. But just talk to me about the mindset heading into Hilton Head and your thoughts about this Seahawks team that they got a nice win over Hampton County early on in the season. They played some great defense. They're never out of a game because of how disciplined they play defensively. They stayed in the game against James Island. They stayed in the game against Bishop England. Just gave up those 21 points. So the defense keeps them in games. And how pumped are you for facing the challenge of the Seahawks defense coming up on Thursday?
I'm really excited. We've had pretty much 2 weeks to prepare. We have a great scheme, a great scheme, I guess, good game plan, and we think we can find the holes in that defense to really show. So,
what's the biggest
should be a fun
mentally challenge because of? I mean, we were supposed to play this game a week ago, and it got pushed back because of the hurricane. And now you never know with all the news on the storms and with potential of Milton potentially hampering things. We don't know yet, but how do you stay focused and stay dialed in with all the volatile changes of the weather as you look to prepare for the opponents ahead? Like, how do you focus and stay locked in despite all these changes and unknowns?
our coaches help us a lot with that, just making sure we're watching film, making sure we have film every morning. Even if we can't have practice after school,
Right.
we'll have something on during the day if we have school. And they just make sure to stay honest about that and stay locked in.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, make every day productive some way or another. If you can't be on the practice field, be in the film room or the weight room, and be progressing toward whatever the goal is at the end of the week or whatever. So, I've been super impressed with the way they run that program. Gregory is obviously a pro's pro. He even though he was a first time head coach, you knew that he knew what was going on. He'd been around his dad his whole life and had a blueprint for what a program looked like, and he's done a terrific job there. So much credit there. But going to welcome in Max Arraj. He may have a couple questions for you before we let you go, Aiden. But what's up, Max?
So, guys, how are you?
Doing well. Just talking with Aeden McCarthy, quarterback of the Bluffton Bobcats.
Yeah,
big game against Buford on Friday. Big win. Another one coming up Thursday against Hilton Head. You got any questions for him?
Yeah, I interviewed you after y'all's game against Lucy Beckham, you and Lucas, and I could tell like the poise, the calmness that you have during football games, and I just wonder, how is that, like, how have you grown in terms of your position, your stature when you go into a game, when you're playing a game, how do you stay, calm and collected as you're, facing challenges such as Lucy Beckham and Buford?
I mean, it's really just I'm like a leader on the team, and if people look at me and see I'm stressing out and freaking out in a game, then they're gonna start freaking out and stressing out. So I try to keep my emotions down, my stress down, and just play the game. So everyone is looking up to me.
And this was still a very challenging Buford defense. with guys like Will Cotting and a great linebacking core. You had some others who really made their stamp in this game and throughout the season, James Thomas among others. So, tell me about this Buford defense and how they made you work for every completion, every yard, and how rewarding it was to get those scores, especially late in the game, to put the ball game away.
I mean, it really just came down to our guys making plays. They were always in the right spots, just our guys making plays on the ball. And we had to mix into things so we could run the ball a little more. We had to mix in like motions and stuff just so we could run the ball.
Did you try to kind of switch things up when it looked like Buford was starting to double team or kind of put the emphasis on covering Carnell? It looked like other opportunities started to open up for you with Ulmer and some other guys who made big plays down the stretch, including one of those late touchdowns to really ice the ball game. Yeah.
Yeah, it really just opens everything up when they put two guys on one. That means one guy is going to be open. So that's really
find him.
Yeah,
find him and put it on him, right? They really did, though. I mean, some of the first half in particular, they made you guys fight for everything. You were grinding out first downs, and you had to put some balls in the exact right spot to score those first couple of touchdowns. So credit to you, and as you said, credit to your guys going up and making plays. As you look at your team as a whole, obviously you focus on yourself and your role, but as you look at your team as a whole, what are the couple of things that you guys need to kind of nail down to really contend and maybe win a region title and try to make a deep push in the playoffs?
We just really need to stamp down our run game and just really make us a dual threat team so people can't just drop 8 on us. Got to make sure that people can have people in the box to stop the run because we can run.
I know.
Yeah, Holly's been a nice addition to that run game, and it's important to have someone to turn to provide a change of pace in terms of trying to rely on the passing game all night long. But I think Holly's really shown stuff when it comes to some strong performances on the ground. But talk to me about your offensive line, how they've improved and helped set the table for what you've been able to, and give yourself a little bit more time in the pocket.
Oh yeah, our coach Greg has been coaching them up every week, and they've really stepped up to a higher level I've ever thought, and really made sure that I can get the ball off, we can run the ball, really doing their jobs. I like to see that.
Yeah, you appreciate those fellas up front. Well, hey man, I think we probably kept you long enough on a school night, but we appreciate you hopping in with us, and we've enjoyed watching you develop this season
one more question
over the last couple of years. Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
We let you go, but just what does this region slate? What do these rivalry games, these contests between loco teams, playing guys that you've grown up with, and playing these Hilton Heads, these May Rivers, and live against people it provides some added excitement and just motivation and fuel. So talk to me about these next couple weeks and how exciting these region games are compared to the first few games of the season.
It really just gets you fired up right before you're about to play. Everybody on this side. They know who you are and how you can play, and it's really just gets you that extra excitement to play, and it's fun. It's really fun.
And one of you is going to get to make the social media post tomorrow, and the other one's going to have to see it in their feed. So you make sure you're on the right side of that. But thanks again, man. It's been awesome to watch you develop, and we definitely look forward to these next few weeks, seeing how you guys fare against these loco rivals and seeing how this thing shakes out, and then following you guys into the playoffs. So best of luck, and congratulations on the success thus far, and we'll talk to you down the road, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Aeden McCarthy, Bluffton Bobcats quarterback. Always great to talk with the kids. Love to do it. And especially the first timers. First time having Aeden on the show. So that's cool.
Yeah, and he's really shown some good maturity out there, and someone who has fit into his role beautifully. I had high hopes for him for what he was able to accomplish this year, and I think he's exceeding my thoughts of kind of what his potential, especially going into Buford again and win like that. That shows a lot of maturity and development and just poise, because that's a tough place to win. Kirkland
Well,
Crazies
and
are going wild. Buford's defense historically has played these last few years played really well. I was hesitant to pick Bluffton, I did, but I almost picked Buford just because of how well they play defensively and how when they get energized, the PA guy gets going, the crowd gets going. It is a hyped place to play at, and it can. I've seen good teams. I've seen good teams come in there and get shut down by that Buford defense. Obviously, guys have come and gone, but through the years, this Buford defense at home has always been challenging. But the way Bluffton showed themselves and put up 42 on the road like that, it's quite a statement. Yeah, I mean, it was. I didn't expect. I was blown away by the consistent success of this offense.
I was impressed by how well the offense performed under pressure. You know, I mean, like it was precise. And that's what I was getting at earlier with like Buford was tough. They played good defense. It felt like to me that like Buford was controlling the game for most of the game and should be winning by a comfortable margin, but they weren't because Bluffton just kept coming up with big play after big play. And every time Buford had a good drive, Bluffton answered. Javon agrees we can drop Buford in the Loco rankings now. But I mean, it was Buford didn't lose that game. Bluffton won that game. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like Buford played well, and Bluffton snatched victory from the feet by making big plays and big moments. And Lucas Gates with that kickoff return was huge. And then the pick by Ashton Chambers on the deep ball on the next series was massive too. Because if that thing hooks up, it's it's
that's that's the other thing with them is not only do they have a extremely strong and very versatile offense, they have a defense that people I don't know pay attention enough to.
Yeah, they're kind of that bend but don't break type. Like they got guys who will step up and make a play when they need one.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not like a team that's going to always shut you down, but they can make the big turnover. They can find a way to get the goal line, stuff like that, which Bluffton has shown this year. At times, it's kind of been hit or miss at points of the year, but I think that Bluffton, throughout what we've seen recently, has come together mostly on the offensive side of the ball, but the defense has stood tall at opportunistic points in these ball games, and I expect them to come up big in this Bridge Bowl as we get ready for potentially a Thursday night game.
That's gonna be fun.
Which should be. It could be a windy one if they play it because there's the high winds are expected through Thursday, which could be a factor in this ball game, especially with a team that loves to throw it in Aeden McCarthy's Bobcats. So certainly that will be something to watch going forward.
Yep.
But I love the way this Bluffton team is playing, and Carnell Warren has shown that he can take a game over, 3 touchdown catches early in that game, and just
as Javon said, single coverage on 3 means Uncle Rico. You want to see me throw it over that mountain?
Yeah, right.
3 times, crazy work.
There was no denying him in this ball game.
I forgot that Thursday could be a little bit on the windy side, so kickers, get ready. That ball is going to curve around. It's going to go one direction that you're not expecting.
There might not be any field goal attempts or PAT
I wouldn't be surprised.
On that subject, real quick, while I'm thinking about it, on the subject of PAT attempts and kicking, I did get some clarification on a couple of points that we brought up Friday night about Thomas Hayward. There was not an onside kick at the end of the game, I'm told. The kicker slipped. It was an accidental onside kick. And also the long snapper was injured, and so that was why they did not attempt PATs. They
okay. Well, the long snapper.
It's an explanation.
Yeah, it's an explanation. I'll give him that. That's fine. I would understand, like, if you have only one long snapper on your team, long snapper is not an easy thing to do. So it's it's a very difficult.
You got to do it with confidence. You got to do it with confidence, and if no one feels confident, and you've got Tony O'Banner, you just go for 2. I mean, let's face it. It's not that common for Skeeza team, that uncommon, I should say,
No,
for
it's
Skeeza
not.
teams to
But
not
they
have a
had,
kicker and just go for 2 all the time anyway.
And
but
on that
yeah,
note,
I agree with you. But Thomas Hayward has a kicker that's capable of
Oh
kicking
yeah,
the field goal.
they do.
I-
But if they didn't have a long snapper who could consistently put it back there, then
the other
that
thing
makes
that I mean, just by watching games in this local area, I'm kind of surprised why teams don't go for it more on fourth downs.
Me too.
And when you have punting games that generate sometimes, like, it's just very volatile.
Yeah, when your net punt yards are like 25 per kick, like just go for it.
The analytics, obviously, you just think about it, and it's simple math to think that
Right.
if it's fourth and medium or fourth and short, I'd keep the
Yeah.
offense out in the field in most places. Depends on the game
Yes.
script situation,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
do feel that teams are playing it more often than they should be.
Yeah, I mean,
feel like I would be
I generally
more
agree.
aggressive.
I mean, if you look at the NFL where they got guys who can punt it,
Right.
55 yards and like net 45 to 50 per kick easily, and they still are going for it more, then yes, because I mean, there's a lot of punts in high school football games that don't net 20 yards.
right.
A lot, like a lot. So yes, I think you should probably go for it more on fourth. I would agree with that. And my philosophy in general is like, if we can't get 2 yards on one play where we know we only have to get 2 yards, then we don't deserve to win the football game.
Right.
So
Yep.
let's just find out right now if we deserve to win this football game.
Yeah.
If you let them score, you can't complain about what they do after. Yeah, I generally agree with that as well. I generally agree with that. Yeah. Fair. Yeah. You can go for 2. That's fair game. Going for 2 is fair game always.
Yeah.
I think.
Hey, I'm fine with hey, it's favorable percentage.
Honestly, if you want to practice your onside kicks at the end of the game, I'm okay with that too. Just take a knee after you do. Don't get the onside kick and then go run it in again.
Well, yeah. That's
All right.
There's a whole other different story there.
But then again, I mean, you can do that too. You just got to be ready for what's coming on the back end if they get better than you 1 year.
Yeah.
Because it's coming. They will repay it when they get an opportunity. Well, hey, let's shout out some more sponsors, MVP sponsors of LowcoSports. We got Base Hit Life, our apparel sponsor with Base Hit baseball and softball apparel. Great hoodies for hoodie season. Although today kind of felt like hoodie season, but it did get a little toasty in the afternoon. Mornings are nice right now. Definitely need a hoodie in the morning. So if you want to live your best Base Hit life and get a new hoodie, go to basehitlife.com. We've also got homegrown home inspections, official home inspector, best in the loco. You'll check out that home, make sure it's good to go, good investment. And if you're building a new home, you have that phased inspection where they'll check on it every step of the way and make sure it's built right with homegrown home inspections. Hospice Care, the Lowcountry provides hospice care, palliative care, free grief counseling, and much more. At Hospice Care, the Lowcountry, where it's not about dying, it's about living. And the USCB Center for Lowcountry Tourism Education, headed up by Coach Beach from Hilton Head. I got a funny anecdote about Coach Beach too. Sent me a picture of her power washing the white uniforms on the driveway Saturday. She said, "This is life as a director of football operations after a game on a grass field in white uniforms. Power washing the Seahawks uniforms." That lady does it all. And she'll teach you all about Hilton Head, and I can teach you all about Bluffton through the Hilton Head Island Ambassadors and Bluffton Ambassadors program through the USCB Center for Lowcountry Tourism Education. We brought it all back around. Those are our MVP sponsors. Boys, what you want to talk about? You want to talk more about some football?
Yeah, you mentioned some RPI rankings.
Yeah, I do have the RPI rankings that are updated. Here's the 4A rankings. You'll note Bishop England is at number 3. So we discussed a little bit what these rankings are the other night, but in case people missed it, the high school league has overhauled their playoff system somewhat in some classifications, where they are using these RPI rankings generated by Max Preps to determine seeding. So the 3 region champs in the lower state will be seeded 1 through 3 based on the RPI. And then the 3 second place finishers will be seeded 4 through 6 based on the RPI, and then the third place finishers 7 through 9, and then they'll select at-larges using the same RPI ranking. So these are going to factor in tremendously to who makes the playoffs and who plays home. So we'll keep tabs on these as the season goes along. I mean, they won't overrule the region finish, obviously,
right,
but they will determine seeding
at-large determination,
at-large.
which I think makes
I
sense.
favor it. I like it.
I do like these. I do like this development. Just
It's a pretty rudimentary formula that may need to be tweaked.
Right. I do think it's one of those systems where like it rewards your schedule. So if you're playing tougher opponents, it kind of gives you a better chance of finishing higher than if you play.
It's a good start. It's a good
start.
I
mean, it can definitely be manipulated either way. I mean, you can see here that May River's being penalized heavily by its opponent's winning percentage. It kind of penalizes you for playing bigger classification schools that end up with losing records, or quality programs that end up with losing records. I guess you would say.
I remember the days when college basketball used it, and certainly it was a good way of determining kind of how difficult or how easy your schedule was, for sure. And it's an indicator of
so I do like it. I do like this just as a metric, as a resource, because you can very quickly quantify the strength of schedule.
Right.
You know, like, Seneca's played a really weak schedule.
Yeah.
They're 6-0, but they've played a really weak schedule. Because you've got the opponent's winning percentage and then the opponent's winning percentage factored in.
Yeah.
So it's interesting there. The only thing that I'd like to see is some kind of an adjustment for classification, so that you get rewarded for playing a 5A with a 5A with a 400 winning percentage shouldn't count as the same as a 1A with the 400 winning percentage, right? So that's the one thing. That's the one thing it doesn't quantify that I wish it did is the level of
these different.
May River did beat a 5A school this year, so I mean,
a 5A school that just beat James Island this week, by the way. West actually beat James Island, which was kind of surprising.
Also, you did send me. We'll talk about it later, but you did send me a score late on Friday night that I was very intrigued by on the skis side of things, but we can talk about that in a second. Although I will say, because if you look at May River's schedule this year, apart from West Ashley, I mean, Brooklyn Casey's kind of okay.
They're
but
down. No, they're not very good. Airport's not very good. Like the schedule was weaker than it looked. Now I don't think that reflects that poorly on May River, though. They did what they were supposed to do in all those games. They weren't close,
and they won by good margins. And
they weren't close. They won them like they were supposed to win them. I have May River up to 4 this week because a bunch of people lost. So
where do you put Bishop England in this?
I moved them in at number 10 this week. Just because I couldn't justify moving them ahead of like Hartsville and some of the teams I had ahead of them.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think they're better than that. Like I think they could keep climbing because I mean, they could beat May River, and then they're jumping into the top 5 probably.
Is that game at Bishop England or at May River?
Couldn't tell you offhand.
Oh.
I can tell you in a minute though.
I believe they're the Bishop England. I don't think we have many.
It's Abbey.
Yeah, we kind of have a interesting slate where a lot of our teams are on the road on Friday and after the Bridge Bowl on Thursday. But
it's fall break for Beaufort County. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Because you may not have all the game day staff in town and all those kinds of things.
True.
But yeah, you're right. Beaufort's at Colleton, May River at Bishop England. Like Marion is at Hampton. We get Hampton home finally. Hilton Head Prep's at home against JP2. That's good. Patrick Henry home against Colleton Prep. That's a good one. So not a lot of home games though. That's fair. It penalizes good teams in the same region. Yeah, in a way.
I mean, it's something they're definitely going to work on, if they continue to use this, which I think they will. That's something that they're definitely, I think, eventually going
I'm
to
sure
add.
they'll tweak the formula somewhat, but I don't
Yeah.
know how complicated it gets to, this
It-
is a very easy
I know,
formula to
like
produce.
I'm sure this sounds simple, but in reality, it's probably on the more difficult side to
Well,
add
this
in.
is very simple. Like, this is
Yeah.
very simple for Max Preps. As long as everybody enters their results, it's very easy to calculate this.
Correct.
But when you start doing some kind of multiplier for classification, then it gets a little more complicated, but I would still think that it should be doable. So I hope they continue to kind of enhance this and get it more honed in. But I think it's a great step in the right direction to at least have some kind of quantifiable head-to-head,
Yeah.
formula that determines
it's
these
important.
things instead of just, we think that team deserves an at-large.
Right.
And the randomness of the seeding and the placement in the bracket was always frustrating.
Yeah.
But having looked at 4A, let's look at 3A and where Battery Creek comes in. Still not good. Still way behind North Charleston. So you can see
I don't understand
the
that.
flaw here. Well, it does not account for any kind of head-to-head anything. It's literally just looking at your record, your opponent's record, and your opponent's record.
Right.
And so North Charleston still has a better record than Battery Creek, still has a better opponent's record, and Battery Creek has a slightly better opponent's, but that's the least amount of the formula. I think it's 50, 40, 10, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a flaw, clearly. When Battery Creek's 10 spots behind a team they beat 47 to 14 a few days ago.
Obviously, if Battery Creek keeps winning, they're going to move up quickly, I think.
Right. Well, and they just don't have to worry about, I mean, if they place third in the region.
Good Lord, look at Oceanside, man. Oceanside 3-3 sitting at 2. Look at their schedule though at 9.91.
Yeah, so Javon makes a good point here. They played down and played a Skiza 3A, but it doesn't even help their. It actually hurts
right. That's why
because they have a bad record.
You kind of try to push them all together and weight these games and teams that they play and have your weighting to those that are, maybe a higher classification.
The RPI hates Hampton.
Yeah,
I got them at
they
16.
really hate Hampton.
Which, that hurts you down the road. They love Barnwell though. That hurts you down the road because it can send you on the road.
Are teams say all the region champions? So now are they seeded based on this metric as well? So number one. Okay, that's
Here's the thing though. 2A is not doing the RPI based, are they?
Oh, you're right. They're not.
You might be right about that.
Yes, I believe it's
even so.
Is it just for it?
It's I think it might be just for a. I believe
4A and 5A
is strictly region finish. I believe that's strictly region finish.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's both 4A and 5A that's using the RPI.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The two divisions within 5A as well as 4A.
Yep. So
I wonder why Max Preps even makes an RPI for the other.
It makes it fun and exciting though. I do like it.
Still got the old school H's. And,
even though they have Hampton as far down as possible.
Hampton would be region. They're region 5, yeah.
I like more of these.
Yes, I believe they are region 5.
So they'd have the H all the way through. Bro, they got the H all the way through.
Ooh. Who does Hampton?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If they can beat Barnwell.
That's
because
3-3 has your fellow delusional alumni. The 3-3 is a little skewed. Because Bowman's real bad and JP2's real bad and North Charleston apparently is real bad, despite their record. But Creek's not bad. Creek's not bad at all. That's as good a Creek team as I've seen in a minute. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. Well, when was the last time they had this record going in at this point in the season? Honestly, it's been
I mean, again, the schedule they played is very poor. but
Yes,
they got
but
some dudes.
yeah, they do.
Derek Smalls
Oh,
is
my.
100% a dude. Here's
Oh
Derek Smalls this week.
my!
You want to see
I
Derek
really
Smalls
do
this
like
week?
this team.
Me.
I love
Oh,
Here we
this
go.
team.
what a costly interception in the end zone by Mahomes.
Oh no, I was
Oh
watching
my!
Derek Smalls punt return.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Dang it, Mahomes.
Yep. Yep.
Here comes another
Oh my God, no way.
Derek Smalls punt return.
Jeez. Yeah, poor North Charleston, man.
I told this man the other night, I don't know where it is, but there's a place for him to play college football, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
help him find
Oh,
it.
I agree,
yeah,
There's
and that's
no
that
question.
seems like a similar theme for a lot of these guys. There is a fit for you if you go out and seek it, and I'm always a fan of these battery. It's like these 3A, 2A, the lower tiered classification schools. Those are the guys who I really root for because sometimes the odds are in your favor, and to see these guys get these offers, get these opportunities to play at the college level, those are the great stories that I'd love to cover. And man, Battery Creek, these dudes can play, and they put so much heart into that entire team. Coach Shusi he's doing a fantastic job, and to get a win like that in really strong fashion over North Charleston, that's a huge stepping stone in the right direction. I mean, that's the win you need to get in the playoffs, and then you just keep rolling from there. And this Battery Creek team has a bunch of dudes that just play at a collectively higher level than you would expect. And it's that underdog mentality that we've seen at Creek for a number of years. And to see these last few seasons of them really starting to find something on the field, it's fun to watch. And that community really deserves all the success that they're getting right now. Terrence Ash really laying it in his foundation, doing a good job of setting the formula. And then he brings in Susie, who just seems to embrace the opportunity and knows mentality, knows what it takes.
He's
to
the right dude.
guys again. Yeah, I feel like he's the perfect fit for a school like that. And Smalls is the dude. They've got some other guys who have really chipped in and made their spark, made their addition, their role in this program. And it's the vibes are really getting good over there. I'm just blown away by how well Susie has really done a great job anchoring this program and putting them in a position where they're going to put their best foot forward. And if they can't win it, they're going to find a way to get off the opposition and make them earn it. And I feel like they're starting to do more of that. So I'm so proud of what Battery Creek has done to this point, and if they can get one more win, get that 3 in the region, that gives them a real chance. Gives them a real chance.
For real.
And I'd love to see that.
They might get a wake up call next week. They're off this week, and then they get Oceanside.
Oceanside, yeah, that's
Here's a good question.
Yeah.
Do you think
that's
May
a
River
tough
is
call.
still
That's a tough
5-0?
call in the Oceanside region, but
Here's a good question. Do you think May River is still 5-0 playing Hampton or Bluffton's schedule? Seems they've had a cakewalk so far.
Mayor Hampton County would be interesting. That would be a fun one to see.
Well, I think they're quite.
I think
exactly.
Yeah, like
The
you
question
see.
is if they had played the same schedule though. Like if they had played Bluffton's schedule.
Bluffton? Oh,
Savannah
I don't
Country
know about
Day.
Bluffton.
So you got Whale Branch, they would have beaten Andrew Jackson. They would have beaten Savannah Country Day.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. There's always
I think it's a
something
better
with it.
matchup for May River that night than it
Yeah.
is for Bluffton. I think they probably do win that. Hampton would have been a real good game, real interesting.
We'll see about Buford. They'll play each
Beckham
other.
would have been a good game, and then Buford, but we'll get to see that one. So we'll find out soon enough. If they had played Hampton's schedule, Colleton, Allendale, Silver Bluff, Bluffton, and
Silver
Hilton Head.
Bluff is not an easy game.
And
But I think
well, Silver Bluff's down this year, though. I think
Yeah.
May River would have
I know.
handled
I'm saying they would have won it most likely, but it's never a cakewalk. Silver Bluff. But
then they would have played Bluffton, which we'll get to see, and Hilton Head, which we'll get to see.
Yeah, so
and
a
they
lot
would
of
have
these
pummeled Edisto.
just the non-conference and non-region part of the schedule. Yeah, it's kind of fun to think about, but you only play who's in front of you.
Yeah, you play the ones in front of you.
Yeah. And they've got a tough schedule. Brooklyn, Casey, West Ashley, those are not pushovers.
Yeah, it it wasn't as weak as the winning percentage indicates.
Right.
I don't think.
I mean, Brooklyn Casey was kind of light work for May River. I mean, me and Justin watched that game.
Yeah, they were big though. They were
big.
Yeah.
They were large dudes. But this May River offense is legit. It's
Yeah,
a
they
legit
are.
problem for a lot of people. Here's some highlights from this week. Asa Haskins getting out and going. These are Andrew Johnson's highlights, but his first clip was him blocking for Asa Haskins. I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to make an impact with your huddle reel, if you want them to notice, go, oh, wait, he blocked on the first play on his highlight? I like this kid. Look at that cutback. I mean, that's really good field vision there.
Yeah.
Cutting that all the way back. He's impressed me, and he just wasn't on my radar coming in. Like I knew who he was, but I didn't know what he was at running back at all. He was an unknown, but he's been really solid. There's another beautiful cutback. Just seeing the hole, following it back, seeing the block, reading it. They are well trained on offense, and they only put it in the air twice Friday, and they were both touchdowns.
You don't have to. We saw what Buford did when they.
And they're both touchdowns. It's
right.
It's very effective.
Throwing the football, you don't have to do it all the time, but it's as a change of pace, or is it just catching the defense by surprise and you're stacking the box, throw it over the top, let your guys grab it. It's the opportunity's there. Go ahead. And May River has done a good job staying true to their identity, which has been running the football over the years. That's what they've done since their inception, pretty much, as they've ran the ball. And when they've, sometimes they've thrown it to perfection up some years, other years, not so much. But this, I feel like they're really starting to kind of get the situation where when they're throwing it, they're making sure they're executing. And Tanner Macy's, done his job. He's fit his role, but there have been other standards as well. Malign's playing some hard-nosed football out there. And the defense, like we've seen in the past years, always seems to be at the forefront, a big cog in the wheel that is churning big time right now for the Sharks. And I love the way that they're attacking and just playing some relentless football right now to start off the year. And this is a squad that's looking like they're going to be a tough out no matter who they face in the postseason. And 4A is, it's top heavy at the very top, but I think this Sharks team has the staying power with how they're built to be a pest in the playoffs. When they get
for
there.
Sure.
It's like they will.
Yeah, they're not fun to play. They're not fun to prep for. Short week especially. It's hard to simulate in practice. I just think. So here's a question for you: Tanner Macy's carries this season 12, 3, 7, 4, 7. How many does he get against Bishop England on Friday? I'm gonna say he's in double digits. I think they're about to take the leash off and start getting him more involved.
I feel like they could be saving stuff for, obviously Carleton County is a game that you should win, even though it's never really a walkover with how how strong that program is starting to become. So ways to go, but you gotta have to play your game, and they did. But this is really the week that's going to matter for May River. Bishop England has shown that they're a quality team and certainly a region title contender from the looks of it. After what they've done against Hilton Head and prior to that, the non-region schedule where they put up some quality wins. So we'll see if they decide to let Macy run loose a little bit, kind of shake things up. I wouldn't be surprised if he does reach double-digit carries when it's all said and done on Friday night. It should be an interesting test for Bishop for both teams, but for May River, Bishop England's defense showed up. They only gave up 7 to Hilton Head. They've been stout throughout the years, so I'm excited to see the battle up front. Who can win at the line of scrimmage, and will we see the opportunities for Macy to carry it and for the run game to really ramp up what we've seen so far? But this might be possibly the toughest game that we've seen for the Sharks this year, and that's all Bishop England, what they've done this year, because
I think hands down.
Yeah.
This would be their biggest test yet. I don't think there's
Yep.
any question about that.
Not at all.
So it should be a good one. Hampton, this is interesting to me. At first, Myers thought they didn't have a 100-yard rusher despite having like 360 something as a team. But it turns out Jalen Singletary did go over 100. He had 107, including 94 on this play.
Oh.
So remember, he had a 98-yard touchdown earlier this season. Now he's got a 94-yard touchdown run to go with it. This dude is unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Jalen Singletary.
He's a different animal, man.
Yeah, that Bluffton game was bonkers. 2 pick sixes, and I had a rushing score as well. He was dominant as ever, and I got to see shades of it to last year when he played maybe a little bit of a smaller role because you had Zion Dobson, you had others, but he was still making impacts defensively and got a few carries at times on offense. But that dude can play, and this has been his coming out show so far these first couple of games of 2024, and this someone who can really rely upon late, it seems. So I'm pumped to see a lot more of my guy, Jalen Singletary, Agent Zero, as we've been known to call him recently.
Agent Zero. And then we've got the Thomas Hayward highlights from our own Max Arraj. Getting to see a little Tony O.
Antonio Banner. What was that like seeing Antonio Banner in person? I haven't seen him in a while, but he is fun.
He's a large fella.
Yeah, he's grown. He's grown a bit. I remember he's in eighth grade.
He's listed at 6 feet. He's listed at 6 feet, 215 pounds.
He looks a little more like Lawrence Taylor every time I see him.
Oh yeah,
he's an absolute animal. Oh, looky there. Here we go. Colton Young. He's been a huge player for them.
I had 2 big touchdowns late in the game as well.
There's Robinson. He's tough. They're tough.
Yeah, Robinson got injured late in the game. I did not see him come back into the game. Although I could be wrong.
I gotta say though, Patrick Henry played them tougher than I thought they would.
Oh yeah, because I walked up. I was at Ridgeland High game to start off, and then I walk up to Thomas Hayward, and Patrick Henry had just scored to tie the game up at 14 before halftime.
Yeah, they fought him.
And I was like, "Ooh,
they always do, man. Every year since they moved to 11 man, they play Hayward tough. They don't lack him much.
No, it's
that was almost dangerous.
Yeah, there was some. I said on Friday there was some chippiness between the two teams, but Stricklander called it the Revolutionary War: Patriots versus the Rebels.
Oh my!
Battle of the corn-fed boys, as I always say.
That'll be a good one this week in Carleton Prep for PHA. They're never easy going up against.
Yeah,
them.
I mean, dude, it's a lot like this. The South Carolina High School League 4A region. Yeah. Skeeza 1A is kind of like that. Obviously the kid's not as big, but it's just as competitive, and you don't know who's going to come out on top, apart from Thomas Hayward. Although Thomas Hayward got themselves in a little bit of trouble, at halftime. I was like, "Ooh, this could be interesting." They finally pulled away in the fourth, but Thomas Hayward obviously coming off of a 3-week hiatus from actually playing football. They hadn't played a game in 3 weeks because teams were, just saying, no, we'll forfeit that and the hurricane as well. So it's just it's good that Thomas Hayward got back on the field, but they, according to Stricklander, they made some miscues in the first half.
Yeah, they did early.
Almost that could have, if those miscues continued in the second half, could cost them a win. But they fixed it up in the second half. Played pretty much lights out the second half. Although Patrick Henry kind of was scoring. It was like a scoring touchdown frenzy.
Yeah.
Battle of the corn-fed boys. Gotta love it. The barbecue boys. Lester's versus Bennett Smokehouse.
Yeah, man.
But
They didn't
did you
have
get some
barbecue
barbecue out
game,
there?
though.
They didn't.
Huh? No,
No
they
barbecue.
didn't have barbecue that night. They did
That's a
have
bummer.
they did have red rice and sausage
Ooh,
that you could get in a cup. Oh, it was so good, so
that sounds
good.
good.
You know, that's
That
one of
sounds
the things I like about this year is that I'm going to different places. I'm also getting to
Mhm.
try different concession stands as well, see what everybody has to offer.
Maybe
You
you
know,
need to
so
start doing an Instagram segment
that would be fun. I
on the
should do that. I
the
hadn't thought about
concession
that.
stand.
And I thought about that while I was sitting at the Thomas Hayward game during halftime. I was like, dude, I should really be doing like Instagram
Yeah.
shots of like halftime eats or something, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Give us a review.
I,
Give us a
you know what?
review on the eats.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that because I'll probably be at the Bluffton game on Thursday, and they always
yeah,
have like a
the
bunch
Sing
of
Mine
things
Cafe.
to choose from.
Yep.
Yeah, they always have a bunch of things to choose from. They have all these restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. There you do. There you go. You might even get a free meal out of it for doing the promo. You know,
Yeah, that would be
you
fun.
play your
It would be
cards right.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, we got deep quick. So let's shout out our varsity sponsors. DDS Web Design builds, hosts, maintains websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So go to ddshhi.com to get found. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties and helps us shine a light on teams and athletes in those counties and give them their due recognition. Dr. Ambrose Cole's our official chiropractor of LowcoSports. He's at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And if you want to take your skills on the mat to the next level, go to Reverence Wrestling Club, the official wrestling sponsor of LowcoSports and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Our Loco Booster Club supports us, so please support them if you can. Court Lifestyle Pros are with Charter One Realty and want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel and much more at their showroom on Argent Boulevard. Jay's Barbershop will get you looking stylish in downtown Ridgeland. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Hudson Seafood House on the Docks is presenting sponsor of the Under the Bus and a great spot for cocktails, seafood, and sunsets and much more. Hurricane Sports Cafe, the place to be if you need something to eat or drink out in Hampton. Stop in and see them. Say hi from the folks at Loco. Any parting thoughts, fellas, before we call it a night?
Yeah, I got a couple. First off, obviously there's a hurricane on its way towards the Gulf Coast of Florida again.
Hurricane's coming.
You know, I got family over in that Orlando area, so it's a little bit nerve wracking. I don't know if y'all saw, but that thing ramped up quick too.
Real
And
quick.
it was a tropical storm
Category
yesterday
5,
morning and
wow.
went from a tropical storm to a Category 4 in 24 hours. So very scary for the Gulf Coast area of Florida. You know, they've already been through a hurricane, a bit of a hurricane, especially Tampa area. They had some flooding from Helene, but this is something else. So, you know, prayers up for those guys down in Florida, and you know, just be vigilant, be careful, you know, be safe while you're there if you decide to stay for whatever reason. And then the other thing is,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Wes. Go ahead, Myth.
I was just saying it's scary with the evacuation. Everyone leaving at once, and I hope that as many people are able to leave. I heard there's been like a setup to Tropicana Field in Tampa, just for all the supplies and potentially could house people. But you know, hopefully, as many people as possible will be able to flee.
Thankfully, the Rays aren't in the playoffs this year, so it was available.
They are not. They are not.
Yeah, so most years it wouldn't be available. I'm just saying.
Indeed.
Oh man. The other thing was, on a happier note, Bama somehow, some way lost to Vandy on Saturday. Yeah. I don't know how in the world. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the score on my phone. I'm like, Vandy's up by a touchdown. There's like.
Did you see where the goalposts ended up?
They paraded around Nashville.
They were taking it down Broadway in Nashville.
Yeah, right, they did. And then they threw it in the river.
Yep, they threw it in the river. And then people, I think they were like police officers. Somebody picked them up, and I think it came back to Vanderbilt at the end. But yeah, I mean, I think the school will take that, losing their goalposts for a win over the #1 team in the country. I think that's a good trade-off. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't think we will mind buying replacement goalposts.
The funniest thing was someone on social media was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get fined." Well, the funniest thing was someone on social media was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get fined for that, but we don't care."
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I said as the game was coming to a close, I was like, well, they're tearing down those goalposts and taking them somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't know what the tradition was there. Apparently, it's take them down and throw them in the Cumberland River, which is amazing.
Well,
That's
never
great.
happened.
Look at that. They're going down Broadway. How funny is
At
that?
Mizzou, we tore them down, took them downtown to Harpo's, and then they took a hacksaw to them, sawed them up, and everybody took a piece home with them. But
Yeah,
thrown in the
Mizzou.
river is pretty great.
Yeah, Mizzou, man. Didn't do great on Saturday, did they?
Not great, but you know what we did do this season? We beat Vanderbilt. So
Look at that, right into the river. How
right in
funny
the
is
river.
that?
Wow.
That's
love it.
hilarious.
I love it. My other favorite part of this game was at the end, after the PA announcer announced the score and everything. They went. They played the audio of Nick Saban saying,
Saban, yes.
"Well, everywhere in the SEC is tough to play except Vanderbilt." Just an amazing troll.
2 weeks ago, it was hilarious. I saw them putting it up on the scoreboard. I was like, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
0-60 against top 5 opponents. Unbelievable.
What?
That coach, where's
there's-
that coach going to be next year? Not Vanderbilt.
I watched a segment the other day of, them talking about this after the game, and they were like, look, some of these Bama fans are, trust fund kids. They grew up in the Nick Saban era. They're not used to having a coach who's not Nick Saban, and, it's just one of those things. But, you look at Alabama, the last game and a half, they have their defense. Their offense is one of the most explosive offenses in college football. I mean, absolutely 100%. They have one of the top offenses. Defense is their problem. They've allowed 64 points in the last 3 quarters, including Georgia and Vanderbilt games. So that's a major problem for Alabama, but it's not something these Alabama fans are used to. We're not used to losing to Vanderbilt, we don't lose to unranked teams. Well, now you have, and what are you going to do about it? And it's just, it's so funny because all of a sudden I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, Vanderbilt's up by a touchdown. I should probably watch this game, see if Vanderbilt
And it
flops
wasn't
it.
just
And they didn't
Vanderbilt.
flop it. They won the game. I was like,
A
well,
bunch of
hallelujah.
upsets. Minnesota knocking off USC. We saw Michigan fall.
Arkansas and Tennessee.
Arkansas, yeah.
And guess
So
who's
it was
back
a
in the top 10 for AP
chaotic,
this week? You're a Clemson
absolutely
Tiger.
chaotic day of college football, and all of a sudden, very quietly, Clemson has been racking up the wins after that.
They're in 10th. They're in
Georgia.
10th right now in the AP poll.
Yeah,
so
they're right there.
Somehow, I don't know how, but somehow Miami was able to come back and win against Cal. I don't know how they did that.
2 weeks
I
in
was
a
like,
row where they have
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
After the one that we saw live,
They're charmed.
Should have been.
I feel like their luck's gonna fall. Their luck's gonna drop out eventually.
Yeah.
I do too.
I think it's going to be in that ACC championship game. It's going to be. I feel like it's going to be Clemson and Miami for that ACC championship game, which would be fun to watch. I think it's going to be a great one.
If they somehow get through it unscathed, they're going to get exposed in the playoffs.
Yeah. In the 12
or get exposed. They could get exposed by Clemson. You never know. I mean,
they could.
in that ACC championship game, because the way Clemson's been playing on both sides of the ball is,
they've got to play at Louisville. Next week.
Yeah, but Louisville's lost 2 straight, and they lost.
I know, but I'm saying that's a tough test.
It's a tough test, but I think the way Clemson's been playing, they,
would anybody be shocked if Florida State knocked them off? I mean, like that would be hilarious.
That would be
Miami. If Florida State knocked
that
out
would
Miami,
that would be really funny.
Well, DJ is out, right? They're gonna have to go to the kid.
He was out.
That's gonna be better.
He was out last Saturday, and guess what? Their quarterback for Florida State played better than DJ.
That's what I'm saying. The kid is good. If they're forced to go to him, they can turn it around.
And he's a freshman. He's at Florida State unless transfer portal comes in for the next 3 years.
But the other game
Miami,
I'm
Georgia Tech
is Pittsburgh.
Georgia Tech would be a shout.
Pittsburgh SMU, which could be an important one in the ACC. Both those teams.
SMU I want to shout out SMU because they have very sneakily are undefeated in ACC play this year.
NIL money, baby.
Well, yeah. Do you remember
years
ago?
They're working it.
It was when they were
in Miami are both working it.
Do you remember when SMU was like the talk of college football back in like the 80s?
Yeah, when they got the death penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
was the
like,
last time they were relevant, and now they're
but
back.
think about that. Like at that time, that was kind of what NIL money is today. You know, it
Yes,
was NIL money, but it was
yes,
illegal back in the 1980s.
yes, yes. Now they can run their same program they ran in the 80s, but it's legal now. So
It's
they're going to be
legal.
same with Miami. All these all the
And you're in
shady
Dallas,
schools from the
and you're
80s are
based
in
in
business
Dallas,
again,
Texas.
baby.
You know how many rich
Back
people live
in
in Dallas,
business.
Texas?
Yeah.
My God, you
Well,
got the big
SMU's got
rich
a
Proud
huge
Boys.
donor base. Huge
Oh
donor
yeah,
base.
easily.
Well,
It's
and
Dallas.
I think
It's
that's
Dallas.
part of why we're going to see people like Vandy continue to come up, and Northwestern, and places where
Yeah.
they have donor bases that have money, and they're tired of being the nerd school, and they want to have a football program, and they're going to pony up some cash to go make
By
it
the way,
happen.
that temporary field for Northwestern, I think, is amazing. Have y'all seen
Yeah,
that temporary
it's
field?
incredible, right on
Why
the
can't
lake.
they make that the permanent field? I would do that.
Well, their permanent
Seriously.
stadium's going to be incredible.
I know, I've seen it. But could you imagine if they put that right on the lake? If they
Yeah.
had put that stadium right on the lake, the stadium that they're currently building, oh, it'd be amazing. But I'm gonna say,
Tired of being in a nerd school, so they're going to pony up the cash.
I don't know. Does it? I think Clemson. I don't think Clemson plays SMU this year. Although it would be very interesting to see those two teams play.
Well, we could
They
see
could.
it in the AC Championship, man. How
Yeah, I
things
know.
settle down over there.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
let me see.
don't. They don't. They got Wake, Virginia, Louisville, Virginia Tech, Pitt, the Citadel, and South Carolina. They finished with 2 non-conference games. That's wild.
They've done that before, which I find very weird. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting conference, but the SEC is getting to be interesting because now there's only 2 teams left in that conference that's undefeated right now.
Well, yeah, but nobody was probably going to go undefeated anyway.
Oh, no one's
Like,
going undefeated, not in this conference.
The SEC is so deep this year. I mean,
Oh God, yeah, it's
emphasized
ridiculous.
by Vanderbilt, but
You know, I think Texas has got the Red River rivalry coming up on Saturday, which I think is going to be a great one. It's an interesting. I mean, this is college football, man. It's always interesting, no matter what. You'll always find something crazy and
Red
unexpected.
River rivalry always delivers every year.
Geez, yeah.
But
It always delivers.
will it be our team? Will it be Twin Ewers? We'll have to see who goes under center. But
Yeah, that's true.
that'll be an interesting game. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one.
That's very true.
yeah. I mean, can you bench Arch at this point? That seems crazy.
Yeah.
He's really, really good. Or maybe you play
Yeah.
both. Here's something cool I just came across for a parting thought.
Ooh.
The B-Town boys. Look at here.
Yeah.
You got Brandon Bryant, Jalen Linder, and Darian Perry. Apparently, these guys played each other this week, so now I gotta look up the results, the box score. Catawba football. I was doing baseball this weekend, so I was not really keeping up with all the college football, just kind of what was in front of me. Catawba won 44-41 in OT. Let's see if the B-Town boys had any major contributions to that. Here we go. Let's see. Kevon Rivera. I remember him from Hanahan. He's up there at Catawba as well. Deuce Linder, Jalen, going by Deuce, apparently. He had 2 grabs for team high 58 yards. Don't see Brandon. Doesn't look like Brandon made a contribution yet, but he's a freshie. Defensively, Darian Perry, 4 tackles, 3 solo, with an interception and a quarterback hurry. Let's go, Darian Perry. Big game for D. Perry. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very cool to see those 3 guys playing college football, living the dream, and playing each other, just like the good old days when it was Bluffton versus May River. So, cool stuff. Well, hey, guys, great show tonight. We still got Chiefs trying to hang on against the Saints.
Yeah.
The Royals got the dub against the Yanks.
Yeah, I
all
saw
every
that.
series is even 1-1. All four
Yes.
series. So
Yeah.
that's exciting.
It is.
And
I hope we
just
get
For the
those
first time in God only knows how
unpredictable
long.
and
I do have a beef,
yeah.
though. I do have a beef. My beef is that we play a 5-game series in this round. And my beef is not that we play a 5-game series. My beef is that we play a 5-game series, but we take a day off in between games in the same city. So we literally could play a 7-game series in the same amount of time.
Yep.
It does not make
Yeah.
sense.
I don't understand it.
I don't know.
They don't play baseball every other day. They play baseball every day. Like it just. I know it's TV money because if they put 2 on each night, then they can have better time slots and no overlap, and they get more money. But like, at what point does it always have to be about more money? Every time? Is there some point where it's enough money and we can just like have the best product?
Well, I think more money. I mean,
We
you
ever
can play
reach that point?
Yeah, I
just-
mean,
yeah.
it just seems inevitable that the playoffs will continue to expand amongst professional sports. You're seeing that in college football
I mean,
now.
You guys
And
and I,
in baseball
like,
as well.
you guys and I all agree we do not like this playoff format whatsoever for Major League Baseball.
I prefer
I mean, I still love it. I still love playoff
Yeah,
baseball. I
it's
just
fine.
think it
Like
could
I
be
don't.
better.
Yeah, of course,
think-
but not
yeah.
this format, not this current format.
Yeah, I don't like as much as I was a fan of the 18. I enjoyed when
Yeah.
everyone was fighting for that one wild card, and it meant a lot to just get in, and all the
Yeah.
craziness of that 2011 when
Oh, yeah.
Tampa knocked out Boston on the Longoria, I believe, home like
That night was bananas. That night,
Yeah.
honestly, probably broke me for being a sports editor. I was like, I'm not cut out for this. This is too much.
Yeah.
Putting that page together that night was insane, dude. It was insane. I was having a constant panic attack while also enjoying the hell out of it at the same time.
Yeah.
Like the
The one
baseball was
game-
great, but it was like, oh God, my page.
Well, yeah, because
the one game that broke me-
everything changed in such a short time span, and
100
the
times.
Yankees were up big over the Rays that night, and then all of a sudden, Tampa comes
Longoria.
out of nowhere to
Yeah,
rally,
Longoria,
win
man.
that game and get in the playoffs. Like that's
Man, I love that dude's swing. Longoria.
Yeah.
Such a
Yes,
short,
man.
compact swing.
Sweet, yeah, nice, sweet comeback swing. You know, the one game that really broke me was playoffs. Red Sox, Yankees. I'm trying to think what year it was. It wasn't long ago. I think it may have been 2018. I could be wrong.
Yes.
But when Angel Hernandez made like 3 wrong calls as a first base umpire, I'm trying to remember what year that was. But that broke me because every time I'm like, yeah, he made the wrong call, and I could tell like
Every
before
year.
the replay even came.
they were always
And
certain.
I was just like, how is this guy umpiring a playoff game?
Who's
Why?
the guy?
Libby
who's the
says it
guy
was
who,
2018.
Now there
It
was
was
one
2018.
guy.
Yeah, okay.
There was one guy. I don't know if the Twitter account still exists with the umpire scorecards or if they're still
Yeah, it does.
okay. Yeah, there was one guy who called a perfect game in the World Series a couple years ago. It was
I
a
did
big
see
deal.
that.
It
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
happened. Yeah. And that
Well,
was crazy.
I saw. I forget what it was. I think it was the first round series. Maybe it was even like the first game of the first round series or whatever. But the umpire scorecards for all the games were unreal. It was like 97, 98, like, and they were really borderline that they missed. So, as much as we dog on the umpires, when they get it down to the playoffs and they reward the best ones over the course of the season and they put the
it
best
becomes
ones
great.
out there, they're
Yeah.
really freaking good. They are really good.
I just don't
so-
understand why people thought Angel Hernandez was worthy
No.
enough to actually make the playoffs. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm.
Great show tonight, boys. Great talking with Aeden McCarthy. Great job setting that up, Wes. Appreciate you getting on the ball and making that happen. That was awesome. Thanks to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs, Mickelson Law Firm, for all they do to help us keep it up and running at LowcoSports. And thanks to you for showing up to listen or watch. You're the reason we do it. And if you keep showing up, we'll keep doing it. As BJ Barham from American Aquarium said, I'll keep screaming out my secrets if you swear to sing along. And if somewhere along the way I lose you, what is it? If somewhere along the way I lose you. I appreciate you listening as long as you did. That's
Yeah,
the
but
gist.
yeah, big night tomorrow. We got more volleyball in store. Some interesting matches there. Some tennis and golf to talk about, and we keep hitting full speed towards postseason. A lot of these sports coming up with that to
Indeed.
look forward to. But yeah, looking just continuing to watch the weather and hoping for the best
Yeah.
for Florida and for us as well.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll give you another weather update tomorrow on the Loco Sports Lowdown. We'll see you at 9:30 p.m. tomorrow. Best circus in town. Kevin Libby himself said it. So show up for the
You ain't
circus.
wrong. Ain't
Tomorrow
wrong.
night, 9:30 p.m. For Max Arraj and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till then, go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco!